Today we're looking into something really quite American, I think. The corporate journey, maybe the collapse of the bowling industry.
Yeah, it's quite a story. How it went from this community cornerstone after the war,
Right, like a town square almost.
exactly, to, well, what happened recently? A real identity crisis.
And bowling back then, it wasn't just, throwing a ball, it was community. Think about the union leagues, those morning glories leagues. First dates even.
Places like Fair Lanes were anchors. They felt permanent. There was a rhythm to it, very predictable. It was just part of the fabric of life for a lot of working families.
And the sources we looked at, they really bring back that smell, don't they? The lane oil, a bit of stale beer maybe, cheap pizza.
Oh, yeah, and that shoe spray, that chemical scent.
Fairlanes was that, wasn't it? Dependable, accessible, built on leagues.
Which is where the trouble started, really. By the 90s, life got busier, more complicated.
Distractions popped up everywhere.
And those leagues, the bedrock, they started thinning out. People just didn't have the time or maybe the inclination for that regular commitment.
And Fairlanes had bet big on growth, hadn't they? Expanded fast.
Way too fast. They assumed the good times would just keep rolling. But when the league numbers dipped, all that debt they'd taken on suddenly looked very shaky.
So bankruptcy in 96, and then AMF steps in, the giant.
Seemed like a rescue, maybe? On paper.
But AMF had its own baggage, didn't it? They weren't exactly healthy themselves.
Not at all. AMF was a huge name, especially in manufacturing, but they were drowning in debt too. And they hadn't really figured out how to adapt either. They filed for bankruptcy themselves in 2001.
And again later.
And again in 2012. So for, more than a decade, the whole sport just felt neglected. Broken, almost.
Yeah.
The alleys got run down, no investment.
Tough times for the loyal bowlers.
Absolutely. Watching the whole thing just stagnate.
Okay, so then comes Bowlero, around 2013. They were called Bowlmore AMF then.
Right, and their perspective was totally different. They didn't see dying bowling alleys. They saw real estate potential, an opportunity.
Not to save bowling, the sport.
No, to totally rebrand it, make it an experience, an event space.
Which meant a physical transformation, a pretty brutal one for the traditionalists.
Oh, completely jarring.
Yeah.
Out went the old lanes, the warm lighting. In came black lights, lasers, pulsing music.
Huge video screens everywhere, blaring pop music, drowning out the pins.
The focus shifted entirely. It wasn't about the perfect game anymore. It was about the, $18 fancy cocktail.
The plush velvet couches, the Instagram moment.
Exactly. And this leads to the fatal mistake, you could say. The leagues, the actual soul of the sport.
You got in the way.
They got in the way. They were inconvenient. They took up valuable weekend nights, paid way less per hour than a big corporate party.
And weren't buying those expensive cocktails.
Definitely not. So management just pushed them out, priced them out, changed the vibe until it wasn't welcoming anymore. They exiled their most loyal customers.
And the financial logic there is interesting. You swap steady, predictable income
Your reliable base, week in, week out.
with the event seeker who might show up once.
Someone totally fickle, chasing the next new thing. The novelty wears off fast, right?
So when axe throwing got hot or VR arcades,
Poof, those corporate parties just moved on. And Bowlero, built on all this debt and novelty.
it suddenly had no foundation.
Exactly. No reliable cash flow from the leagues to cover the basic costs. They alienated their entire fan base, the people who actually loved bowling. And in doing that, they pretty much killed themselves.
It's such a paradox, isn't it? Trying to modernize, trying to attract this new crowd.
But doing it by destroying the very community that kept the lights on for decades.
Which leaves us with a thought for you, our listener, to maybe mull over.
Yeah. How many businesses out there today might be making a similar miscalculation? Chasing that flashy, high margin, but totally unreliable customer.
The trend chaser.
Right.